Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today we're diving into something that I think a lot of you can relate to.
Yeah,
Businesses that don't fail, or at least they fail a lot less than that scary statistic we always hear.
right. 9 out of 10 businesses failing.
Yeah, exactly. Turns out that might not be the whole story.
Especially these days with so much happening online.
Right. So we're going to be looking at a YouTube video by my wife quit her job e-commerce channel.
Catchy name.
It really is.
And the video is called 4 Businesses with Amazingly Low Failure Rates. You can't lose.
Okay.
It's a little clickbaity, but
Yeah, but are they right?
we're going to find out.
All right, let's do it. So first of all, this whole idea of businesses failing, what does that even mean?
Yeah, well, the video points out that the traditional definition of business failure, the one from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, it's really focused on like brick-and-mortar businesses.
Physical stores.
Exactly. Closing their doors for good.
Yeah.
But online businesses, they're a whole different ball game.
So different rules of the game.
Totally. Think about it. Starting an online store, it's way cheaper than renting out a physical space.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And lower overhead, well, that means it's harder to actually go bankrupt.
Even if your business isn't doing amazingly well,
Exactly.
it's just less risky.
Way less risky.
Okay, so what's the first low-failure business model we're looking at today?
Well, let's start with the one that the video creator knows best.
All right.
E-commerce.
Okay, makes sense. That's their whole channel.
And their story is pretty interesting. They launched their online store, bumblebeelinen.com, for just $630.
Wow.
And back then, their monthly costs were just $37 a month.
Seriously? That's amazing.
That's less than like a Netflix subscription.
All right, so you're telling me I could start an online store right now for less than $1,000?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's not always that simple, of course.
Right.
But the barriers to entry are definitely lower than they used to be.
So how does it work?
Well, there's a few different approaches. There's drop shipping, for example.
Drop shipping, okay.
So with drop shipping, you don't even need to hold any inventory.
Oh, interesting.
You just partner with a supplier who ships the products directly to your customers.
So I could sell something online and never actually touch it.
Exactly.
Wild.
And then there's print on demand.
What's that?
So with print on demand, you can sell like custom designed items.
Oh, cool. Like T-shirts and stuff?
Exactly. You design it, someone else prints it, and ships it when someone buys it from your store.
So you don't have to deal with like printing or shipping or anything.
Right. It's all handled for you.
That's incredible.
It's a great way to test out different product ideas without a huge upfront investment.
So I could be like the next big T-shirt mogul
You never know.
from my couch.
Exactly.
All right, what if I want a bit more control over my products?
Well, then you can go the private label route, which is what the video creator did with bumblebeelinen.com.
Okay, so like their own brand.
Yeah, so you basically source products from a manufacturer and then sell them under your own brand name. It does involve a bit more upfront investment for inventory,
Right.
but you're building something that's uniquely yours.
And building a brand is super important.
Totally. It's what sets you apart in the market.
Okay, so you're telling me even with the inventory costs and everything, e-commerce can still be really low risk.
Yeah, I mean, the video mentions their 7-figure store costs around $1,000 a month to run.
A month.
Yeah. And that's assuming no employees.
Wow.
Not bad for a business bringing in that much revenue, right?
Not bad at all.
Yeah.
Okay, so what about everyone who tries e-commerce and doesn't become a millionaire?
That's the thing. Even those who aren't wildly successful,
Right.
they rarely fail in the traditional sense.
Okay, what do you mean?
Well, a lot of them just never actually launch any products.
Seriously?
Yeah, the video creator says that a lot of their students just get stuck in the planning phase.
Oh, yeah, I can see that happening.
They get caught up in perfecting everything.
And never actually pull the trigger.
Exactly. So it's a good reminder that taking action is key.
Even if it's not perfect, just get started.
Exactly. You can always tweak and improve things as you go.
Okay, I like that. So moving on to the next low-failure business model,
What do you got?
let's talk about content creation.
Ooh, one of my favorites.
Specifically, blogging and YouTube.
The dynamic duo of the online world.
All right, so I've dabbled in both of these,
Have you?
but haven't really made any money from it yet.
Well, the video creator actually started their blog, mywifequitherjob.com, for less than $10.
What?
Yeah, with hosting costing just $4.95 a month.
Seriously? That's insane.
Talk about low risk.
So how do you make money from a blog?
So the strategy is actually pretty simple.
Yep.
It's all about attracting traffic through SEO, which is basically making sure Google likes your website.
Right.
Then you build an email list by offering valuable content.
Free stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And then you can promote affiliate offers, courses, even your own products.
So you're building up a loyal audience who trusts your recommendations.
Exactly. And that trust is what translates into sales.
Makes sense. But I'm guessing it takes time.
Definitely not a get-rich-quick scheme.
Okay.
The video creator actually emphasizes that you need a lot of patience and a long-term vision.
How long are we talking?
Well, it took them 2 years to become profitable from their blog.
2 years, all right?
And then 6 years to hit 7 figures.
Wow. But that's incredible.
It was like a long-term investment.
Okay.
You put in the work up front, you nurture it, and then eventually it pays off big time.
It's like planting a tree.
Exactly. It takes time for it to grow, but then it provides shade and fruit for years to come.
Okay, so blogging is a marathon, not a sprint.
Exactly.
What about YouTube? Is it a similar story?
Totally. The great thing about YouTube is it's free to start.
Oh, yeah, assuming you have a smartphone.
Exactly. And just like blogging, the more videos you create, the more chances you have to attract viewers, build an audience, and eventually generate income.
And what does that income look like? Is it just ad revenue?
Ad revenue is definitely a part of it. But you can also make money through sponsorships, affiliate marketing, even selling your own products or services.
So just like with a blog, you can use YouTube to build a brand.
Absolutely.
Interesting.
And the video even mentions Eric Bowles' beard brand.
Beard brand, that's the beard oil company, right?
Yeah. They actually get over 50% of their sales through YouTube.
Wow, that's amazing. The power of video.
It really is.
Okay, so we've covered e-commerce and content creation, two totally different models, but both with super low failure rates.
Yeah, and what's interesting is they both leverage the internet to reach a huge audience without needing a ton of money up front.
The internet really has changed the game for entrepreneurs.
It's a game changer for sure.
All right, I'm ready for the next low failure business model.
Okay, let's step away from the digital world for a moment
All right.
and talk about something a little bit more traditional.
Curious.
Real estate.
Real estate. What? Okay, this seems like a pretty big jump from online stores and YouTube channels.
I know, right?
How does that fit into the low failure category?
Well, the video mentions a pretty powerful quote from Andrew Carnegie.
Andrew Carnegie, the steel guy.
Yeah, he said that 90% of millionaires got rich through real estate.
Interesting.
And there's definitely something to be said for the stability and the tangible assets that come with owning property.
Okay, I'm listening. Break it down for me. Why is real estate so resilient?
Well, for a few reasons. First of all, you've got that tangible asset.
A piece of property.
Yeah, something you can actually touch and see.
I like that.
Then there's the cash flow from rental income.
So you're making money every month.
Exactly. And of course, the potential for property values to go up over time.
Appreciation.
Yes. And on top of that, there are a lot of tax benefits that come with owning real estate.
So the government actually helps you make more money.
In a way, yes. It's all very legal and above board, of course.
Of course. I bet.
So, yeah, real estate can be a pretty sweet deal.
So you're building equity, getting rental income, and benefiting from tax breaks.
It's a classic wealth building strategy.
Okay, I can see the appeal. But what about leverage? The video mentioned that, didn't it?
They good. Leverage is basically using borrowed money to amplify your returns.
It's like a mortgage.
Exactly. But it can be a double-edged sword.
Oh, how so?
Well, if you're not careful, it can increase your risk.
Makes sense.
But when it's used strategically, leverage can help you control a much larger asset than you could with your own money,
Interesting.
which means potentially bigger profits.
Gotcha. So leverage is a powerful tool, but you got to use it wisely.
Exactly. Knowledge is power when it comes to real estate.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's talk about those tax benefits you mentioned. Can you elaborate on those?
Sure. There's things like 1031 exchanges,
Okay.
which allow you to defer paying capital gains taxes when you sell one investment property and buy another one.
So you can keep rolling your profits into bigger and better properties.
Exactly. And then there's depreciation.
Depreciation.
Yeah, it allows you to deduct a portion of the property's value each year to account for wear and tear.
So you're basically getting a tax break for the fact that your property is getting older.
Exactly.
That's pretty cool. So all these tax benefits, they basically help you keep more of your hard-earned money.
Exactly. And that's why real estate is often considered a low-risk, high-reward investment.
Okay, I'm starting to see the appeal. But isn't managing properties a lot of work?
It can be.
Dealing with tenants, repairs, all that stuff?
Yeah, but you can always hire a property manager.
Oh, okay.
They handle all the day-to-day tasks for you.
So you can be a hands-off investor.
Exactly. It's all about finding what works best for your lifestyle and your goals.
I like that. So real estate isn't entirely passive, but it offers a lot of stability and potential for growth,
Absolutely. And that tangible asset backing your investment can be really reassuring.
especially in times of economic uncertainty.
Yeah, exactly. People always need a place to live, no matter what's happening in the stock market.
Okay, so we've covered three very different business models so far: e-commerce, content creation, and real estate.
And they all have surprisingly low failure rates.
It's really challenging, that old saying that 9 out of 10 businesses are doomed to fail.
It really is. And what's fascinating is how each of these models tapped into different aspects of our modern world,
Yeah.
whether it's the power of the internet or the enduring value of tangible assets.
Right. It's all about finding what works for you.
Exactly. And it's exciting to see how entrepreneurship is evolving and adapting to these new opportunities.
All right, I'm ready for the fourth and final low-failure business model.
What's next on the list?
Hit me with it.
This one ties back into the real estate world,
Okay.
but takes a slightly different approach. We're talking about real estate investment trusts,
Real estate investment trusts.
or REITs for short.
REITs? Okay. I'm intrigued, but I got to be honest, I have no idea what a REIT is.
Don't worry, a lot of people don't.
Okay, good.
Basically, a REIT is a company that owns, operates, or finances income-producing real estate.
So it's like a company that specializes in real estate.
Exactly. They pool money from a bunch of investors and use it to buy and manage a portfolio of properties. So you can invest in real estate without actually owning any property yourself.
Interesting.
They're basically buying shares of that company.
So it's kind of like buying stock in a real estate company.
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it.
Okay, so what's the advantage of investing in a REIT versus just buying a rental property myself?
Well, one of the coolest things about REITs is they're legally required to distribute at least 90% of their taxable income to shareholders as dividends.
So I get paid just for owning shares in the REIT.
Exactly. It's a way to earn passive income from real estate without being a landlord.
That sounds pretty amazing.
It can be a great way to diversify your portfolio with real estate, even if you don't have the time or desire to deal with tenants and repairs.
Sign me up. But are REITs really as low risk as the video claims?
Well, like any investment, they're subject to market fluctuations.
Right, the market goes up and down.
Exactly. But historically, REITs have shown a pretty strong track record of stability and growth.
Okay, that's reassuring.
They're generally considered a lower risk way to get into real estate than buying and managing properties yourself.
So lower risk, passive income, and diversification. REITs sound pretty good.
They can be a great option for the right investor.
All right, so we got 4 distinct business models with surprisingly low failure rates.
E-commerce, content creation, direct real estate investments, and now REITs.
It's mind-blowing how diverse they are.
And what unites them is they all challenge that old idea that businesses are destined to fail.
It's almost like we need to redefine failure in the digital age.
I think you're right. The old school definition doesn't really apply to a lot of online businesses.
Maybe failure in the online world is more about not adapting.
Yeah, not growing or innovating.
It's about staying stagnant.
Exactly.
So maybe it's less about whether a business technically exists and more about whether it's thriving,
Whether it's achieving its goals.
whatever those goals may be.
Exactly.
And this video seems to be all about encouraging people to define those goals
To take the leap.
and explore these new avenues for success.
And it's fascinating how these models give people more control over their financial futures.
Yeah.
They allow people to create something they believe in.
It's not just about making money.
It's about aligning your work with your purpose.
And these low failure models make that dream so much more attainable.
Absolutely. They lower the barriers to entry and make entrepreneurship accessible to everyone.
You don't need a ton of money or a fancy degree.
It's more about having a good idea and the willingness to learn.
And the courage to take action.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if you're worried about failing,
Which, let's be honest, we all are.
we all are, just remember those low failure rates we talked about. Choose a model that excites you, put in the work, and know that every successful entrepreneur has faced challenges.
It's all part of the journey.
Exactly. And don't forget,
Yeah.
there are so many resources available to help you along the way.
Like what?
Online courses, communities, mentorship programs. You don't have to do it alone.
That's a great point. Building a supportive network is so important.
It really is. Surround yourself with people who believe in you and your vision.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground today.
A lot.
We debunked the 9 out of 10 business failure myth
Busted.
and explored 4 incredibly diverse business models with surprisingly high success rates.
So what does this all mean for our listeners who might be on the fence about taking the plunge?
That's the big question.
I think the biggest takeaway is that the barriers to entry are lower than ever before.
You don't need a ton of capital or a fancy storefront.
It's more about finding a problem you're passionate about solving.
And then figuring out which of these low-failure models can help you do that.
Exactly. It's like having a toolbox full of entrepreneurial power tools, and you get to choose which ones you want to use.
I love that analogy. So it's not about chasing the hottest trend.
Right.
It's about finding something that genuinely resonates with you.
Finding your passion.
And then using these tools to bring your vision to life.
Exactly.
So what's a practical first step for someone who's feeling inspired but not sure where to start?
I'd recommend starting with research and exploration.
Okay, makes sense.
Dive deeper into the business models that pique your interest.
Read books, watch videos.
Listen to podcasts, connect with people who are already successful in those areas.
And remember, even small steps can lead to big progress.
So what's one tiny action you can take today to move closer to your entrepreneurial dreams?
That's a great question.
Maybe it's jotting down some business ideas,
Right.
or exploring online courses, or
Yeah.
connecting with someone in your network who's already on an entrepreneurial path.
The key is to just start.
Exactly. Action is key.
Well said. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of low-failure businesses.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
We hope you've gained some valuable insights and are feeling inspired to explore the possibilities of entrepreneurship.
There are so many possibilities out there.
It really is an exciting time to be an entrepreneur.
It is. And with the right mindset and approach, you can achieve remarkable things.
I love that. So to all our listeners,
Yes.
keep exploring
Keep learning.
and keep dreaming big. We'll be back next week with another fascinating topic to explore together.
I can't wait.
Until then, stay curious, stay inspired, and keep on building those dreams.
Yes. Build those dreams. It really is. And you know what's cool about all these business models?
What's up?
They let people define success on their own terms.
I like that a lot.
It's not just about building some giant company, you know?
Right. Not everyone wants to be a billionaire.
Exactly. It's about finding something that works for you, whether that's, financial freedom, creative expression, or just making a difference in the world.
Yeah, making a positive impact.
Exactly. So it's not all about the money. It's about finding something you truly care about.
Okay, so you got me thinking more about REITs now.
Yeah.
I'm still wrapping my head around them.
I get it. It's a new concept for a lot of people.
The video mentioned that they're a passive investment, but what does that actually look like? Like, how does that work in real life?
It's actually pretty similar to buying stocks.
Yep.
So you buy shares of a REIT, and then they take that money and they invest in a bunch of different properties.
So I don't have to go out and find properties myself.
Nope.
And,
You're basically trusting the REIT managers to do that for you.
and I'm assuming they're experts in real estate.
That's the idea. They know what they're doing, and they're making smart decisions with your investment.
Okay, and then what? I just sit back and collect the cash.
Well, remember how REITs have to distribute at least 90% of their taxable income to shareholders?
Right, you mentioned that.
So you'll be getting those regular dividend payments just for being a shareholder.
So it's passive income.
Passive income from real estate without the hassle of being a landlord.
I gotta say, that sounds pretty appealing.
It can be a really great option for people who want to invest in real estate, but, they don't have the time or energy to manage properties themselves.
Okay, so let's recap for a second.
All right, we've got these 4 low-failure business models we've been talking about. E-commerce, content creation, direct real estate investing, and now REITs.
4 very different paths,
But they all have that low failure rate in common.
which really makes you think about how we define failure in the first place.
Right. Like maybe that whole 9 out of 10 businesses failing thing is a bit outdated.
Especially when you consider how many businesses are operating online these days.
Maybe failure in the online world is more about not adapting or evolving.
Right, not growing or innovating.
Stagnation.
Exactly.
Mhm.
It's like if your business isn't constantly moving forward,
Then it's basically failing.
in a way, yeah, it's not reaching its full potential.
So maybe it's less about whether a business technically exists and more about whether it's thriving.
Reaching its goals, whatever those goals might be.
Exactly. And this video we've been talking about,
Yeah.
it's really encouraging people to take control and create their own definition of success.
Yeah, to set their own goals and then go after them. And what's so cool about these low-failure business models,
Yeah.
they give people the tools to do that.
They empower people to create their own financial futures.
It's not just about working for someone else
Right. You can build something you're truly passionate about.
and make a real impact on the world.
And these models make that dream feel so much more achievable.
They lower the barriers to entry so anyone can get involved.
Exactly. You don't need a ton of money or a fancy degree to get started.
It's more about having a good idea and the willingness to work hard.
and the courage to take that first step.
Yeah. And to all our listeners out there who might be feeling scared or hesitant,
Nervous about taking that leap.
just remember those low failure rates we talked about.
They're real.
Choose a business model that resonates with you. Put in the effort and trust the process.
And know that you're not alone.
Every successful entrepreneur has faced challenges.
It's part of the journey.
And there are so many resources available to help you along the way.
Absolutely. Don't be afraid to reach out and ask for help. Connect with other entrepreneurs. Take online courses.
Building a supportive network can make all the difference.
It really can. Surround yourself with people who inspire you and push you to be your best.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about these different business models.
We have.
We debunked the myth of the 9 out of 10 businesses failing.
Yeah, busted it wide open.
And explored all these different options for building a successful business.
So what's the main takeaway for our listeners who are maybe still on the fence about entrepreneurship?
What would you tell them?
I would say that the barriers to entry are lower than ever before.
Lower than ever.
You don't need a ton of money or a fancy storefront to get started.
It's all about finding something you're passionate about.
A problem you want to solve.
And then choosing the right tools to bring that solution to life.
Exactly. You're not just limited to one way of doing things.
There's so many options available.
And the best part is, you don't have to have all the answers figured out right away.
It's a journey.
It really is. Embrace the uncertainty, experiment, and be open to new possibilities.
And trust that you'll figure it out along the way.
Exactly. It's all about learning and adapting as you go.
So don't let fear hold you back.
The world needs your ideas.
What's a practical first step someone can take if they're feeling overwhelmed but excited by all this?
I would say start with something small.
Okay.
Brainstorm some ideas.
Writing down.
Research different business models. Connect with people who are already doing what you want to do.
The important thing is to just get started.
Take that first step, however small it might be.
Because every journey begins with a single step.
Well said.
All right, folks, we've got to wrap things up for today's episode.
Already, time flies when you're having fun.
It really does. But before we go, I want to leave our listeners with one final thought.
Okay.
What's the one piece of advice you would give to someone who's feeling inspired but hesitant to take that leap?
Don't let fear hold you back. The possibilities are endless.
There are so many resources available to help you succeed.
And remember, you don't have to do it alone.
That's such an important reminder. So, folks, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of low-failure businesses.
It's been a blast.
We hope you're feeling inspired to explore your entrepreneurial potential and create something amazing.
Go out there and make your mark on the world.
And we'll be back next week with another fascinating topic to explore together.
Can't wait.
Until then, stay curious, stay inspired, and keep on dreaming big.
Dream big.
That's such great advice.
Yeah.
It's easy to get caught up in the fear of failure.
Absolutely. But think about it this way.
Okay.
Stepping outside your comfort zone,
Yeah.
that's where the real growth happens.
That's where you learn and you figure out what you're truly capable of.
You got to push those boundaries.
I like that. Okay, so for our listener who might be feeling a little overwhelmed by everything we talked about,
Yeah, it's a lot of information.
it is.
Yeah.
What's a practical way for them to kind of process it all?
That's a good question. Well, first, I'd say take some time to reflect on what really stood out to you during our conversation.
Okay.
What business model piqued your interest? Did any of them just click with you?
Right, like did any of them get you excited to learn more?
Exactly. And think about your skills and interests.
Okay.
What are you already good at? What do you enjoy doing?
What are you passionate about?
Yeah. Passion is huge.
Because if you're not passionate about it, you're not going to stick with it.
Exactly. You got to love what you do.
And then think about what problems you can solve.
What need can you fulfill in the world?
It's about finding that sweet spot where your skills and your passions,
And the needs of the world.
they all intersect.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's okay if you don't have all the answers right away.
Right.
Entrepreneurship, it's a process.
A journey.
Exactly. There's going to be a lot of experimentation, a lot of learning, and definitely some adapting along the way.
So just start with something small,
Yeah.
right? Like brainstorming some ideas,
Yeah.
maybe researching a specific business model.
Or connecting with someone who's already doing what you want to do.
Just get the ball rolling,
The most important thing is to take action.
even if it's just a tiny step.
Any step forward is a step in the right direction.
Love that. And remember, even if you stumble or make mistakes,
Which you will.
we all do.
Those setbacks, They're actually valuable learning experiences.
There are opportunities to grow and improve.
Exactly. It's all part of the process.
This whole conversation has been so inspiring.
I know, me too.
It's a good reminder that entrepreneurship is for anyone who has a dream.
And the willingness to learn and work hard.
And the courage to take action.
Absolutely. And, with all these low-failure business models out there,
Yeah.
it just makes that dream feel so much more achievable, right?
It really does. It's not this scary, impossible thing anymore.
It's within reach.
It's exciting.
It is. It's a really empowering time to be an entrepreneur.
Absolutely. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure exploring all these ideas with you.
The pleasure was all mine.
I feel like we've really uncovered some hidden gems in the business world.
Hidden gems and busted some myths along the way.
Exactly. So for all our listeners out there, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the world of low-failure businesses.
We hope you enjoyed it.
We hope you're leaving feeling inspired, empowered, and ready to take that next step toward building your dream business.
You got this.
And remember, the possibilities are truly endless. So go out there and make your mark on the world.
The world is waiting for you.
And we'll be back next week with another deep dive into a fascinating topic.
Can't wait to see what we uncover next.
Until then, stay curious, stay inspired, and keep on dreaming big.
Dream big.